What's happening? My name is Daniel and welcome to our first episode of Series 4 of The Message Today. If this is your first time with us, The Message Today is a weekly bite-sized PSHE session full of music videos, spoken words, facts and stats, and life-transforming stories. We'll be looking at different topics over the coming weeks and hopefully we'll be able to inform and equip you to make some great choices in life.
Hi, my name is Emma. Faith is important and it's personal. Do you have a faith or follow a religion? Most people on this programme are Christians and they found the Bible to be super helpful when working through difficult situations in their lives. During this session, some of our guests will be sharing some of their experiences and they may tell us what scriptures in the Bible or how their faith has helped them through their situation.
If you have any questions from this session, why not write them down and talk in your group with your teachers afterwards. If you are personally struggling with anything that we talk about, please do think of an adult you can trust and talk to them ASAP. This might be a parent or a guardian, a youth leader or a member of staff at your school.
We PC claim there are more than 2.7 billion video gamers and 2.2 million mobile gamers worldwide. While mobile gaming is popular across the board, female gamers are more likely to favour mobile platforms than males. With the video games market worth around $159 billion and mobile gaming hitting around $77 billion, I think this is a topic for us to look at.
Have you ever thought about what your parents or guardians think about your gaming habits? It might surprise you that according to the research by Entertainment Software Association, 70% of parents say that video games have a positive influence on their child's life.
However, former MP Tom Watson called for tighter regulation in gaming, saying there were considerable fears that gaming is a gateway to gambling after the BBC ran an article about a teenager getting ripped off by in-game purchases in FIFA.
Today, with special guests amongst wolves, music from Crossfire, and Joe sharing his story, we'll be looking at the topic of gaming and gambling. So, let's check in and see how many of our students are into gaming.
I'm not into gaming at all. I don't know how to work a PS4 controller or an Xbox. I think it's quite sad, to be honest, but my brother, however, he will play on his PS4 for hours on end and swearing and everything, angry like responses to when he loses. I just think it's a silly game. Silly game? Silly game console?
No, really, I'm not into gaming. Not fussed by it, like in the slightest.
I'm definitely not into gaming. No. Do not have a favourite console, do not have a favourite game.
I'm not into gaming, but I do like a bit of GTA. I like to just drive in the cars and punch people up. That's the only thing I would do.
I do play games. I play on a PC. Don't have a favourite game, but I am heavily into the Half-Life series.
I have a younger brother and he is a PlayStation boy. He's PlayStation obsessed.
Of course I'm into gaming, it's so fun. So currently I'm on PlayStation, still trying to get a PS5 because you know they're sold out absolutely flipping everywhere, it's ridiculous. I enjoy it so much, I love playing with all my mates. I actually found most of my mates on PlayStation, not even from my school. And yeah, I enjoy it quite a lot.
I am into gaming, yes. My favourite game at the moment would have to be Brawl Stars. It's a mobile game, free if you want to get it. It's on the phone, but I do enjoy PS4 games. I have a PS4.
Well, obviously I don't anymore because, you know, I've got grown-up things to do. But when I was younger, Cooking Mama was the way forward. I was on that every day on my Nintendo. Every day.
I have to admit, even though I'm not a massive gamer myself, I was dead chuffed when my best friends bought my husband and I a PlayStation as a wedding gift. Come on, how cool is that? But since I'm not an expert, let's take a look at the science behind gaming, courtesy of ASAP Science.
Video games provide a fun escape from reality, though they're often portrayed as violent, lazy, and a waste of time by some. The debate has raged on for years, so are there any positive effects? Can video games actually make you smarter? Before we get ahead of ourselves, it's important to note that too much of anything is bad. Even broccoli. Seriously, extremely high doses of broccoli can actually be toxic. Heck, even water toxicity exists. So if you binge and do nothing but play video games, the risks probably outweigh any benefits. In fact, we have an entire video devoted to what would happen if you stopped going outside and the negative effects of sitting, link in the description. Having said that, many studies have actually shown increases in cognitive function after playing video games. One study in particular had participants play Super Mario 64 for 30 minutes a day over 2 months. Afterwards, the brains of these participants saw an increase of gray matter in areas associated with memory, strategic planning, and fine motor skills of the hands compared to those who had not played. These are particularly encouraging results for mental disorders which cause these brain regions to shrink, using video games as a therapy. Surprisingly, action games can also increase attention to detail in individuals. Take a look at the following words on screen and yell out what color the word is as fast as you can. So, green, blue, orange. Okay, now try a bit faster without me. As we continue, it becomes more difficult because there is a conflict between the word itself and its color. Chances are, if you play more than 5 to 10 hours of action games a week, you're able to solve these problems much more quickly. This is because your brain is actually more efficient in the regions associated with attention. Of course, video games can also be incredibly educational, and while you may not be playing some of your favorite games for this purpose, there are certainly many games that are used as effective teaching tools for both young and old. They may even help kids who suffer from dyslexia read more effectively. In a small study, dyslexic children who played regular video games ended up reading faster and more accurately, once again relating to improved attention skills. Meanwhile, other studies have found improvements in eyesight. Not only can they see smaller details more clearly, like tiny writing, but they have an easier time differentiating levels of gray. Very practiced action gamers were 58% better at perceiving fine differences in contrast, which is important as this is one of the first things to diminish with age. Even in the elderly, improved memory and focus is seen. More importantly, specially designed brain-teasing video games have been shown to slow the aging process of the brain by up to 7 years. This is because they are cognitively complex and require mental energy. Think you're able to keep track of what's in front of your eyes? Keep an eye on the blue circle here. Eventually, it will turn yellow like all the others. I will then point to a circle and you tell me if it was originally blue. If you knew this ball wasn't blue, then you're a functioning human being. But let's make it harder. Staring at the middle of the screen can help to keep track of the blue circles. Was this circle originally blue? If you said no, you'd be right. One more time, but with 5 blue circles. Was this one originally blue? Yep, it was. It turns out the average person can track about 3 to 4 objects, while practiced action gamers can track around 6 to 7. Finally, as technology continues to transform medicine, surgeries are being completed with the insertion of cameras and remote-controlled tools. And these surgeries have very clear parallels to video games with a screen and a controlling device. Not surprisingly, young doctors with previous exposure to video games show fewer errors and faster completion than those without. Of course, all of these skills are only useful if you use them, which you can't if all you do is play video games. So enjoy your downtime and relax with your games in moderation, but get out there and keep your life diverse as well, because that's how you'll win at the game of life.
In TwinInfinite.net's top 10 games by peak number of players last year, you might be surprised to learn that a lot of the games weren't recent releases. Destiny 2 came in at number 10 with 213,681 players at one point on Steam alone. Grand Theft Auto 5 made it onto the list with 260,562 concurrent players. Minecraft secured the number 4 spot with 1.4 million, but probably unsurprisingly, Fortnite took the top spot with 12.3 million players logging on to catch the astronomical concert as players flocked to watch Travis Scott debut a new single. Now don't get me wrong, I am dying to go to a gig and see some live music, but I've got to hand it to Travis Scott and his team. I would never have thought of setting up a concert on Fortnite, especially one with its own in-game merch drop for, you guessed it, an add-on purchase.
According to the BBC's news round, 62% of parents agree playing video games helps to improve their child's problem-solving skills, and 53% believe gaming helps to improve their child's focus and concentration. A third agree it helps with their academic progress, and 48% are happy for their child to have a career in gaming. You never know, your parents might be more fond of your Xbox or PlayStation than you may think.
Sony's financial report for April to June 2020 reveals that a whopping 41% of its revenue was generated by download codes, microtransactions, and other in-game purchases, accounting for an eye-watering $2.29 billion. To put things into perspective, packaged software accounted for just $350 million, 6% of the organisation's overall income. That is a crazy amount of money, especially when you think how much of it was from tiny payments in-game.
A survey by charity Ditch the Label has found that more than half of gamers aged 12 to 25 say that they've been bullied whilst playing online.
Gambling addiction is estimated to cost the UK up to £1.2 billion per year. In a YouGov survey, it was estimated that nearly 1.4 million people were problem gamblers in Great Britain, and that as many as 3.6 million people reported having been negatively affected by someone else's gambling problem. If you're finding that you're spending loads on add-ons to make games fun, it might be worth having a chat with an adult you trust about setting some boundaries in place before it becomes a problem.
While the ESA found that 72% of parents limit their child's time playing games, 67% of parents play video games with their child at least once a week. Internet Matters actually recommended that parents should play online games with their kids. Now, I know your folks aren't likely to be your first choice to have you back in maybe Fortnite or as someone to go up against on FIFA, but maybe giving them a shot could be a really good way of spending some quality time together, doing something fun. Plus, just think of the bragging rights if you absolutely destroy them in a game.
VentureBeat said that Epic claimed that in April alone, thanks to the pandemic, players spent 3.2 billion hours in just the Battle Royale shooter. Now, we all know, like so many other things, that gaming can become addictive. So we asked our students, what was the longest time they had ever played for?
Probably when I was younger on the Wii, maybe like a couple of hours or something like that. Wii Sports Resort, Just Dance. Yeah, probably a couple of hours.
When I was younger, I used to hide it under my pillow and then literally sit up all night, so probably hours at a time, which is really bad. Don't do that. But definitely a good few hours, 100%.
Yeah, I'm really not fussed by gaming. Not me.
The longest time my brother's probably played for was like 3 days straight, no sleep.
I played Monopoly on Xbox and we was there for about an hour, 2 hours. Yeah, that's it.
I would say I've probably played consecutively for a good, I think it was 18 hours. And it was one heck of a day, I must say. The different games we went on, the different conversations, arguments we had, it was ridiculous.
I think the longest time I've played in one sitting is 8-9 hours, which I think to a lot of people wouldn't be very long.
Okay, I'm a bit ashamed, but it was a game called Smite. It was on a laptop, and I spent, I think, 16 or 18 hours. Not my proudest moment.
So, a few questions to you guys watching this. What's been your longest time gaming? Was that a one-off or is it regular? And looking at those answers, how does that make you feel? Up next to share their thoughts on today's topic, it's Dan, Mark, Andy and Clarissa from Amongst Wolves. Over to you guys.
What's up guys, we are Amongst Wolves. My name is Andy, this is Dan, Clarissa and Mark, and we are a band based in Manchester. We've also got some stuff on YouTube, so go search us and check it out. We are here today to talk to you guys all about gaming.
VeryWellMind.com define video game addiction as a compulsive or uncontrolled use of video games in a way that causes problems in other areas of the person's life.
Technopedia.com tells us that in-game purchases refer to items or points that a player can buy with real money for use within the game to improve your character or enhance your playing experience or nerf your mates. In-game purchases are the main way free-to-play games make money for their creators. Do make sure that you've got the permission of the card holder before buying anything, and keep tabs on how much you've been spending, because it's really easy just to chuck in a quid. If you do that for 30 days, you ain't going to be happy with yourself.
Let's be real, gaming is great. I don't know about you, but Animal Crossing got me through national lockdown, and right now in my free time, I'm actually building a new gaming computer. So there's nothing wrong with gaming in and of itself. The problem comes when we start using it solely as an escape, and we start caring more about what's happening in the game than in our own lives. You know that feeling when you get into bed at 4 AM after gaming all night and you close your eyes and all you can think about and all you can see is the game? That doesn't just affect your sleep, but that can be bad for your mental health. So I think we've got to find a balance. I've found I feel best when I game every now and then, not with 100% of my free time. I've also found playing games with my wife has actually been a great way for us to relax and spend time together, and we've been doing that since before we were even dating. Also, there's loads of salty people online. Don't be one of them. If the game stops being fun, it's just making you angry, put the controller down, stop playing, you don't need that. Have a break. Your value is not in how well you do at that game.
Thank you guys for joining us on today's lesson. If you want to go check out our YouTube channel, Amongst Wolves, we massively appreciate that. We upload some real stupid stuff. We go live. We also upload music videos and loads of stuff like that. Hopefully see you there. Catch you around.
We caught up with Dan from Amongst Wolves afterwards and asked him, if your value isn't found in how well you do in a game, where do you get your value from? And this was his response.
There's a bit in the Bible where it says, look how much God loves us. He calls us his children. So my value as a person doesn't come from how well I do at any game or anything else for that matter. It comes from the fact that I am known and loved by God, and nothing can change that.
Even though we know gaming is fun and can be educational, Mark from Amongst Wolves brought up the topic of in-game purchases. Did you know that in May 2020, Fortnite had 350 million registered players worldwide? That's up 100 million since March 2019. Yeah, it's free to download, but thanks to in-game purchases, it reported making $4.2 billion in revenue thanks to Epic Games in 2019.
If you're a die-hard Fortnite player, you might have noticed that loot boxes changed a while ago. Epic Games co-founder Tim Sweeney warned that practices like pay-to-play loot boxes were putting both players and the industry at risk, adding, "We should be very reticent of creating an experience when the outcome can be influenced by spending money. Loot boxes play on all the mechanics of gambling except for the ability to get more money out of it in the end."
Have you ever thought about how much you spend when you're gaming? Let's see how much money our students have spent in the past.
I don't buy games, I don't really play games.
I don't really spend money on that kind of stuff, so £0. Zero. Nada. Nothing.
I've not really, but I know my brother spends a lot. I always hear him, "Mum, can I send you money and you add the funds to my account? Mum." So I'm guessing it's a bit.
I've always, grew up with, you don't need it, but since I got my own debit card and I've got the ability to buy things of my own, I've been very conservative with it. 9 times out of 10, it was never for cosmetics, like to make your character look better. It was always for actual gameplay. So to get another map or to start a new storyline sort of thing.
The most I've spent on a purchase is about £50–55.
Oh gosh, I don't know the exact, but I would definitely say I've probably spent over £100 in total on in-app purchases on my PlayStation.
My sister's ex-boyfriend used her EE account when they were together at the time to buy FIFA points. It went up to about £700–800, which she now has to pay. And now she's broken up with him. It's gone up to £1,200. So it's horrible.
I can't remember how long ago it was, but I don't know if I've made this up or what, but I think my dad's credit card was like synced to my brother's PS4 games. And then suddenly my dad's like, oh, where's this like £50 come from? Like, it's just gone. My brother's like, definitely not just spend it on like, I don't know, PS4 credits or, I don't know, what can you spend £50 on a video game for? I don't get it. Like, you're just gonna sit in a chair and just watch a £50 go down the drain, like, what? You can buy a new outfit for your little football role. Pixels, you're buying pixels, like, colourful.
It's important to be aware of what you're spending when you're playing, making sure those microtransactions don't add up. This next video from News 5 in Cleveland highlights the possible dangers of gaming and gambling at a young age.
Over the holidays, you might have given your kids, well, some video games. But those games might not be as harmless as you think they are when it comes to gambling.
Yeah, 5 on Your Side investigator Jonathan Walsh takes a closer look at a local family's tragic loss, loot boxes, and possible roads to gambling that kids and adults may not have even considered.
He was a very fun person. He made us laugh all the time.
Andrea and Bill McGovern from Menor remember their son Mike and remember what gambling did to him.
He wanted to do that so badly that he actually stole something from us to be able to do it.
It wasn't always like that. They say Mike was a successful salesman, and without even going to college at age 24, he bought his first home. But his addiction to card games led to big debts, and that helped push him to suicide.
Problem gamblers and talk about their stories and their introduction, they always go back to their childhood.
The McGoverns worry about your children, and they are not alone.
Gambling at an earlier age, leads to a greater possibility of addiction and greater severity later in life.
Mike Bazzelli is from the Problem Gambling Network of Ohio. He says there are many ways gambling can be introduced to your kids, including playing video games.
Gaming, gambling, neither of them are inherently bad, but they do come with risks.
With gaming expected to be a $29 billion consumer industry in the U.S. alone this year, those risks that Mike is talking about include something called loot boxes, where you spend genuine money on something that's a mystery.
You're paying real-life currency to open up a secret box that may have nothing.
And Mike says some gaming companies take that a step further.
Showing the odds of what your odds are of winning a loot box in the game, which, right, that's gambling.
A recent study from the United Kingdom's House of Lords reports gaming, loot boxes, and gambling can be linked together. That people who spend money on loot boxes are more than 10 times as likely to be problem gamblers. And there are 55,000 problem gamblers ages, get this, 11 to 16 years old in that country.
The World Health Organization just last May formally recognized gaming as a disorder.
Dr. Chris Toole from the Linder Center of Hope near Cincinnati has treated young people with gambling addictions. He says gaming can be just like alcohol or drugs.
We know the same neurochemical processing is happening in the brain. So when we engage in a behavioral addiction, it triggers those same neurochemicals like dopamine, for example.
He says games provide intermittent reinforcement through in-game purchases or loot boxes.
To get the latest, the fastest, the newest add-ons to my game to help me succeed and do better.
So parents, watch for the signs of problem gaming.
I give up relationships, interest in other things become secondary. I'm not as engaged with my family.
Reports show kids are racking up thousands in bills buying loot boxes, a potential for future problem gamblers.
A good majority of them did start when they were younger.
For the McGoverns, they just want you to be aware of your children.
I was never angry at Mike. I was just sad for this poor boy whose life was cut short by this.
And so talking it out, it's difficult. The tears might come, but it's worth it's worth every tear.
I'm 5 on Your Side investigator, Jonathan Walsh.
Mila Kunis and Ashton Kutcher are in good company when it comes to gaming enthusiasm. Other celebrities, including Justin Bieber, Megan Fox, Vin Diesel, Jack Black and Samuel L. Jackson, have all expressed their love of video games too. But have any of them struggled? Let's check in with Lauren for this week's quote of the day.
In a Jimmy Kimmel interview, Mila Kunis said that she could play World of Warcraft for an entire day without noticing the hours passing. It took over her life so much that she was forced to stop playing for an entire year. Mila said, "Let's just say I had to quit the game for good." Like Mila, could you consider giving up gaming for a year if you knew it was taking over your life?
Up next, we have My Story section. This week, Joe shares how he became obsessed with gaming.
Where's that? Have you ever been told those video games are gonna rot your brain? Well, at the age of 13, I got the game Championship Manager, which is like Football Manager today, and oh my goodness, it was unreal. I would come in from school, I'd be on there, I'd have my dinner on the PC, I'd be doing my homework there, and my sister would walk past at times just hearing me go, come on lads, you can do this. I mean, yeah, it's a bit sad to say, but I really enjoyed it. But let me tell you, the stats on this game, it said, you've been playing for 30 days, 30 times 24 hours. And it said, remember, there's an outside world. And really, actually, I was so consumed in this game. This was all I could think about. Like, I was really excited to talk to my friends about it. I even kind of wanted to tell my parents about it. And obviously, they were not interested in these players I've signed who didn't even exist because the game had gone that far on. The game was creating new players and all that. But I came to a place actually when those 30 days were on the stats, I realized I have to do something about this because actually I was so kind of like become so unaware of kind of the outside world. I was so consumed in this game, and I knew deep down there it wasn't good for me. It wasn't healthy for me, and really actually did I want to go with this going forward, even though it was enjoyable. And I made it was a hard decision at age 13. I actually deleted my progress. It was so tough to do, genuinely so tough to do. Now, a video game's bad? No, you can obviously have so much fun, but it's kind of the motive behind it. Is it because we're kind of escaping to it? Which, don't get me wrong, the escapism was enjoyable, but it wasn't actually helping me in life, in the real world. And actually, life is so good. Life is there to be embraced. And really, if there is things that actually we are avoiding and we're escaping down whatever route it is, I really encourage you to actually face those things, face those issues head on. Chat to someone, talk to someone that you trust about them, because that's going to be way more beneficial in the long term. Let me be that reminder that pops up today saying, remember there's an outside world. Embrace life. Live it with others, enjoy it. Really live life to the full. My name's Joe Winchland, and this is my story.
We asked Joe how his faith as a Christian helps him move forward, and he said this. One of my favorite verses in the Bible is John 10:10, where Jesus says, "The thief, also known as the devil, comes only to steal, kill, and destroy. Jesus came that we might have life and have it to the full." For me, that means facing things I might find tough head on, not trying to escape and avoid things which may lead to relief in the short term, but further stress in the long run. This helps me face whatever challenges come my way. Why? Because I believe my security is found in Jesus, and I can have joy in that relationship no matter the circumstances. No more hiding away, but walking tall, full of faith and hope.
As we said in the beginning, if you have any questions from this session, why not talk about it in your groups afterwards? Also, if your teacher or leader would like to extend this session, you can access the questions that accompany this episode by following the link in the description on YouTube.
If you're personally struggling with any of the content, please think of an adult you can trust and talk to them ASAP. Don't wait. There are, however, many websites and articles that you can check out too, such as the article written back in November 2018 by Newsround on the BBC website, which has a great in-depth article on gaming and gambling.
GamCare and the Young Gamblers Education Trust have developed a £10 million programme, the largest of its kind, with a view to arm young people with the skills and resilience necessary to make decisions about their participation in gambling in the future. The programme will run for 4 years from back in April 2020. But don't forget the usual charities like The Mix, Kooth and Childline that can also help you.
Many of the bands that you see on here are releasing new content on their socials every week. Every month, all the Message Trust bands get together for one massive show called Higher Live. The band's YouTube channels are on the screen, so why don't you check them out? We hope today's episode was helpful. That's all from us now, so we will leave you with a song called You Are My by Crossfire. See you next week.
I was lost before, but now I'm found. I was blinded by the darkness, now I see. Up on the cross with your feet off the ground. You took my sin, so I believe I will be free. You came and you changed me, you showed me how I should be living through ups and downs. You are the reason that I am free. Always you, 'cause you are mine. Every breath I take, my day and night. 'Cause you are mine. The reason for my joy, you give me life. 'Cause you are mine. Every breath I take, my day and night. 'Cause you are mine. The reason for my joy, you give me life. 'Cause you are mine. Every breath I take, my day and night. 'Cause you are mine. The reason for my joy, you give me life. 'Cause you are mine. Every breath I take, my day and night. 'Cause you are mine. The reason for my joy, you give me life. 'Cause you are mine. 'Cause you are mine. 'Cause you are mine. 'Cause you are mine.
So much sitting on my chest right now. Bench press everything that I write down. Stuff in my head I can never quite wipe out. I've been looking into death, I know it might sound wild. I just know when you're not alone. Found hope, now I know that I have a home. When I'm down, he remains with us. Lifts me up when it gets dangerous.
I was all alone and filled with doubt. Then you came along, your love is there for me. Time and time again, when I fall down, you pick me up and give me everything I need. You came and you changed me, you showed me how I should be living through ups and downs. You are the reason that I am free. Always you, 'cause you are mine. Every breath I take, my day and night. 'Cause you are mine. The reason for my joy, you are mine. Every breath I take, my day and night. 'Cause you are mine. The reason for my joy, you give me life. 'Cause you are mine. Every breath I take, my day and night. 'Cause you are mine. The reason for my joy, you give me life. 'Cause you are mine. Every breath I take, my day and night. 'Cause you are mine. The reason for my joy, 'cause you are mine. Every breath I take, my day and night. 'Cause you are mine. The reason for my joy, you give me life. 'Cause you are mine. Every breath I take, my day and night. 'Cause you are mine. The reason for my joy, you give me life.